So, welcome to the little Daly Black podcast setup here at SRC Summit.
Thank you.
We're joined here with
Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System.
Awesome. Thanks for sitting down with us, Matt.
Yeah, of course.
A couple questions. So, just wanted to know, as a business owner, what is your biggest hardship in the industry? What's one of your biggest pain points, would you say?
I would say maybe one of the biggest pain points in the industry, not necessarily for myself, but a lot of my clients are dealing with it, is carriers taking liberties and taking advantage of people.
Okay.
That ultimately rolls back to the contractor. That creates a lot of extra work for them, a lot of problems for them, but it's also a huge problem, obviously, for the clients, for the policyholders, but then that becomes an extra job for the contractors.
Right. Makes their job a whole lot harder.
Yeah.
So obviously at Daly Black, we deal with a lot of underpaid, denied, delayed claims. Do you have any horror stories from insurance companies about that sort of thing?
Yeah, I actually have a claim that Daly Black's working on for me.
Okay.
And it was a really strange situation. It was about a $250,000 residential claim.
Okay.
And by $250,000, I mean when properly estimated.
Right.
The adjuster went out
key.
before we were ever involved. Estimated the job for about $100,000.
Okay.
Told the insured, get 3 estimates, find someone that can do the work for this. And fortunately, he contacted us. We realized that the way that they had prescribed it was totally wrong. Wasn't going to meet code. Wasn't going to meet the building standards there. And so we asked the adjuster to come back out. We gave them our estimate. We had our whole report. And they said, okay, for this much of a difference, we need to go back out there. Great.
Okay.
Let's look at it together.
Right.
We've got the facts on our side. Went through, inspected everything, and the guy actually said, hey, I know that this is the way that the estimate was supposed to be written.
No way.
But the carrier's guidelines wouldn't allow me to.
Okay.
So what I need from you, I need you to go to the building department, have them write on their letterhead, here's all the things that we need, and sign it. Have the head building inspector sign it. That is
unreal.
That is unreal. And most building departments are going to push you off and go, hey, we've got on our website what's required.
Right.
I went out there, I sweet talked the building inspector. I did what I really didn't expect to be successful with.
Right.
I was able to get that documentation on their letterhead. Here's all the things that we need, signed by the building inspector. Boom, here you go.
Dang, good for you.
Well, wait.
Okay.
They pulled the adjuster off and said, everything that he says doesn't matter. We're back to square one. And that's where we said, you know what? And they played some other games. Some more delays, some more, bad mouthing us to the client, all sorts of stuff. And we said, you know what? We need to speak to an attorney.
Right.
This client speak to an attorney and see what their options are. And so we brought London in to talk with the client and look at the file. And they were like, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
We can get this taken care of.
It's crazy because, as a relatively newer person in the industry, just hearing how far these insurance companies keep pushing the line, I feel like they just keep pushing it back further and further. It just keeps getting more and more egregious, right?
Well, I think it's a numbers game.
Okay.
And so they look at, especially, that was a bigger claim.
Right.
And so they can look at that on its own. But if you look at your typical $15,000 claim, roof claim,
yeah,
it's really common. There's millions of them out there. If they can bend the rules a little bit and save themselves $2,000, $3,000 a million times, it's a lot of money.
It's a huge amount of money.
And if they compare that to the small fraction of the time that they're going to get their feet held to the fire,
right,
or that they're going to have to pay attorney's fees or whatever, the numbers still make sense for them to keep screwing everybody over.
Absolutely.
And so, that's why, attorneys working with these clients, being available for that, associations like the APA, really helping to turn the tides. And really the only thing that's going to change their behavior is that equation shifting.
Right.
Where they go, you know what? It's going to be cheaper for us to just pay these claims fairly and properly.
Absolutely.
As best as possible.
Rather than having to dish out treble damages and go 3 times what they
right,
owe.
yeah. Instead of rolling the dice.
Right.
But they're only rolling the dice one in 1,000 times or whatever it is.
Right.
And so, I think that is really where things are going to shift, is where they go. The ante's going up.
Absolutely.
And it's going to make sense for us to just do good business. That's going to help, our retention with our clients and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of other benefits, but I really think because these companies are answering to their shareholders, their bottom dollar is all that matters.
Yep.
And they're not going to change their behavior unless that equation changes and it makes sense for them financially.
Absolutely. And that kind of answered my last question that I had for you, which is, what do you think the benefit of having an attorney on your side is, or a law firm that's willing to go to trial? And I think you mentioned just holding the insurance company's feet to the fire.
Well, I think it's that, and also contractors get paid for building roofs or whatever type of things they're building.
Absolutely.
That's what they get paid for. They don't get paid to do second and third inspections. They don't get paid to make 1,000 phone calls with these people that are intentionally not answering and not calling back, and all these types of things. So if that is what it's going to take to get the job paid, so that we can build the roof and get paid for what we do, then why am I going to do that work for free?
Right.
If they're not going to play nice and pay what they should properly pay, then they may have to pay extra for me to hire or the client to hire representation to get that stuff done for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you for sitting down, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
Absolutely, dude.
Cool.